Our revered national and international guests here with us today. In a moment of great pleasure, let's welcome all our dignified and extremely revered guests onto the stage. We begin with the national anthem, so I request all of you to kindly stand in reverence for the same. Thank you very much, everyone. Esteemed guests of honor, distinguished dignitaries on and off the dais, respected representatives of the embassies of different countries, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all a wonderful evening and take the deepest pleasure to welcome you all to the International Education Fair 2023. Organized by a prestigious university nested in the bosom of the pristine Kashmir Valley, the Sher-e-Kashmir University of Agricultural Sciences and Technology of Kashmir, in collaboration with the Indian Council for Cultural Relationships. To infuse the day with the spirit of hope, we begin with the traditional Isband ceremony, wherein the fragrant harmala seeds are added to the classic pot of Kashmir, the kangri. Isband in Kashmir stands as a symbol of love, harmony, peace. Isband, it is said, wards off evil, brings happiness and prosperity. And as the seeds crack on the hot coal, they fill the air with a fragrance that reaches the heart directly. We begin with the hope that this fragrance will spread to our hearts and send a message of love, peace, and harmony. Thank you, sirs. As a mark of our affection and appreciation, I earnestly request Shri Atal Duluji, esteemed Financial Commissioner, Additional Chief Secretary, APD, Jammu and Kashmir, to felicitate our Honorable Guest of Honor, Shri Dharminder Pradhanji, for embellishing the occasion with his presence. I also request Shri Atal Duluji to kindly felicitate Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji for his gracious presence. Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, a distinguished personality. It is an honor to have here with us all our dignitaries today. Thank you, sir. May I now request worthy Vice Chancellor, SKUAST Jammu and SKUAST Kashmir, to kindly felicitate Honorable Lieutenant Governor, Jammu and Kashmir, with the token of our love and appreciation. We are now felicitating Dr. Vinay Sahasrabuddhiji, Honorable President, ICCR, who is our esteemed guest for today. It is an honor to have you here with us today, sir. So you're requested now to felicitate our Honorable Lieutenant Governor with the token of appreciation. Your gracious presence fills our hearts with warmth, sir. May I request you, sir, also to felicitate Shri Atal Duluji with the token of appreciation. Thank you, sir. May I now request Dr. Archana Tyagi, Consultant ICCR, to felicitate our beloved Vice Chancellor, Professor Nazir Ahmed Ganaiji. Thank you very much, sirs and ma'am, with a sincere hope that this evening will be memorable to us all. I invite Shri Atal Duluji, Additional Chief Secretary, APD, and the architect of the new agricultural policy of Jammu and Kashmir, to formally welcome all our honored guests.
Honorable Minister of Education, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan Ji, Honorable Minister of State in the Prime Minister's Office, Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, Honorable Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, Shri Manoj Sinha Ji, Honorable President ICCR, Dr. Vinay Sahasrabuddhe Ji, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this event called International Education Fair, organized by SKUAST Kashmir. The Government of India, under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister, has been taking a large number of measures to ensure doubling of farmers' income, to ensure boosting of agriculture production, and to ensure upgradation of agriculture education and research in the country. And most of these initiatives are futuristic, which seek infusion of capital, infusion of technology, skill development, and better management practices. In Jammu and Kashmir, we have been trying to follow the vision set forth by the Honorable Prime Minister, using regionally differentiated strategies. In Jammu Kashmir, there are several challenges being faced by the agriculture sector. Primarily, we find the situation of low average size of holdings of farmers. Almost 55% of our cultivable area is rain-fed, and there is an absence of value chains in agriculture sector. But there are many opportunities. And the opportunities are that there has been lot of diversification from crop sector to horticulture sector and livestock sector. And we have a distinct comparative advantage in various crops. For instance, apple, walnut, almonds, cherries, saffron, lavender, trout, wool, bivoltine silk, and most of these crops are high value crops. For decades we had been facing a situation in Jammu and Kashmir which can be called the vicious cycle of low growth. For example, there is low capital formation in agriculture, which leads to lower infusion of capital in the sector and lower infusion of modern technology and practices, inadequate skilling, suboptimal management practices, and the overall result is low total factor productivity, which again leads to low growth, and the cycle continues. So this is the vicious cycle of low growth. Now Jammu Kashmir government has taken several initiatives and several steps. An ambitious project called Holistic Agriculture Development Program has been sanctioned at a cost of rupees 50 billion. And it has actually 29 interventions. And these are all based on one of the four following strategies. The first, to strengthen the seed system, ensuring availability of high quality genetic material in the crop sector, in the horticulture sector, and in the livestock sector. The second strategy, harvesting comparative advantage that we have in certain crops and also focusing on high growth sectors. Third, we are facilitating aggregation, marketing, value chain development, and food processing. And fourth, we are securing livelihoods of our farmers by diversification, integrated farming systems, sustainable agriculture, and climate resilient agriculture practices. And the outcomes that we expect from the implementation of this ambitious project after 5 years are that we would have achieved a growth rate in agriculture sector of 11% at constant prices. We would have added 80% to our gross value added in agriculture sector at constant prices. We would have secured the livelihoods of 1.3 million households dependent on agriculture and allied sectors. We would have created 19,000 enterprises. We would have created 290,000 jobs. And we would have skilled 250,000 youth in agriculture and allied sectors, and we would have trained most of them as agricultural entrepreneurs. And in this entire exercise, we are also investing heavily in technology and research and development. We are investing almost rupees 10 billion in research and development in 5 years in the 2 universities that we have in Jammu and Kashmir. We are creating a number of centers of excellence. We are developing locally appropriate technologies for our niche sectors. Next, we are also focusing on skill development of youth through offline and online training programs, and the objective is to train 250,000 youth as agri-entrepreneurs. And the result that we expect is that we would have broken this vicious loop of low growth. We would have infused capital, we are investing in technology, we are focusing on skill development, we are promoting better management practices, we are promoting value chain development, which will all lead to higher returns, higher total factor productivity, and high growth. And high growth will lead to more capital formation, and this we would have converted this vicious cycle of low growth to a virtuous cycle of shared prosperity. And in this entire task, the 2 agriculture universities of Jammu and Kashmir are key stakeholders. They were deeply involved in conceiving the proposals, in formulating the projects, and they will also be involved in implementing these projects. As I have already said, that we are focusing a lot on the research and development and agriculture education and skilling. In line with this vision, we are upgrading both our universities at Jammu and Srinagar. And as a first step, the Kashmir Agriculture University is now inviting students from foreign countries to study and to do research in Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir offers many advantages to the students. The first is diverse agroclimatic zones. We have subtropical climatic zones, we have temperate agroclimatic zones, and we have certain areas which are called arid deserts. And Kashmir in particular offers many agroecological advantages. It offers immense scope for research in temperate crops, and some of them are niche crops in many parts of the world. And secondly, the students which will come to Kashmir will get an opportunity to work on a transformative agriculture project which I just talked about. And for your kind information, the education model developed by the Kashmir Agriculture University is one of the best in the country. It is being treated as a model education policy being followed by this university. And now we are here, we are looking forward to your cooperation in achieving transformation of agriculture and agriculture education in Jammu and Kashmir. I would just like to tell you an incident that a professor was teaching in a university and the subject was cooperation. So he counted and he found that there were 50 students in the class. So he got 50 balloons and he wrote the name of one student on one balloon, second student on second balloon, and over some 10 minutes he wrote the names of 50 students on 50 balloons. He kept those balloons in a different room and asked the students to get the balloon which contains his name in the next 5 minutes. The task was that everybody should go to the second room, get the balloon of his name, come back to his seat in 5 minutes. The students went, they pushed each other, they competed with each other, they struggled, they sweated, and at the end of 5 minutes, none of them was able to find the balloon which was having his name. Then they got tired, but the professor told them, okay, now we'll revise the task. Now you go to that second room, you pick up a balloon and you give it to the student whose name is written on it. And in 5 minutes, each of the 50 students was in his seats and carrying the balloon which was having his own name. That is the potential and spirit of cooperation, and that's why we are here seeking your cooperation to achieve transformation in agriculture and allied sectors in Jammu and Kashmir so that we can ensure peace, progress and prosperity in Jammu and Kashmir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for an inspiring address. SKUAST Kashmir, led by a charismatic, empathetic and progressive Vice-Chancellor, is a pathbreaker in education, research, outreach and innovation. To present an overview of the university and to share his vast vision with you, may I now invite Professor Nazir Ahmed Ganai Saab for a presentation.
Thank you. Our respected guests of honor, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan Ji, the Honorable Minister for Education, Government of India, Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, our Honorable Minister of State, Minister of Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, Shri Manoj Sinha Ji, our Honorable Lieutenant Governor of the UT of Jammu and Kashmir and the Chancellor of the 2 agriculture universities, Dr. Vinay Sahasrabudhe Ji, the President of the ICCR, Shri Atal Dulu Ji, the Financial Commissioner and the Additional Chief Secretary of the UT of Jammu and Kashmir, the learned and the respected dignitaries of the dais, the honorable diplomats of the foreign embassies, the press and the electronic media, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening and namaskar to all of you. I am Dr. Nazir Ahmed Ganai, I am the Vice Chancellor of the Sher-e Kashmir University of Agricultural Sciences and Technology of Kashmir and of Jammu. I once again welcome the guests of honor, the learned dignitaries of the dais and the foreign diplomats to this event. On behalf of the Honorable Lieutenant Governor Shri Manoj Sinha ji, and in presence of the galaxy of the leaders, it is a matter of great honor and privilege for me to present Jammu and Kashmir as the ideal destination for education in India. The year 2023 is very special to us. We have celebrated 75th year of our independence. We call it the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. And now we are entering into the Amrit Kal. That is the next 25 years of our centenary celebrations, wherein we target ourselves as the knowledge superpower of the world, with our economy as the third largest in the world, that economy which is driven by knowledge and technology. And so have we felt from Jammu and Kashmir our responsibility and the role of contributing to the national goal of becoming the Vishwa Guru and making Jammu and Kashmir as the shining crown of India. And today's event is one such endeavor of the beautiful Himalayan state of Jammu and Kashmir, steered by Honorable Lieutenant Governor Shri Manoj Sinha ji, popularly known in our region as the Vikas Push, of transforming the young minds into the next-gen global leaders. We are therefore here to invite the students from across the world to come to us for higher learning and be part of the journey of the growth of this great nation, which is fast growing and fast evolving into a modern nation. And we, of course, understand the myriad of the questions the student asks before he decides to go overseas. The first question a student would ask himself about the history, the culture, the tradition, the value system of that country, to get the right kind of the life and the social skills which are very fundamental for success in life of any student. The other questions which are very pertinent to a question going overseas are that about the quality of the education that institution offers, the quality of the research, the innovation ecosystem that university has in place, the ranking of the university, of course, the placement of the students, and very importantly about the relevance of the courses to that student in his country. And also one of the very important reasons for a student to choose a university overseas is the cost competitiveness of that particular course. During my short speech, I shall try to answer these questions. When I talk about the history, the culture, the tradition, the value system, India is one of the oldest and the richest. We had a very glorious past. Our civilization dates back 5,000 years, the famous Indus Valley civilization. Our literature is also very old. The famous Vedas and Puranas, almost 3,500 years old. And the world's oldest universities are the first universities existed in India, the Taxila and the Nalanda. And we had that very unique, the Gurukul system of education, wherein the student, the Shishya and the Guru would stay at the same place in a family. That is, briefly the past of the India, the glorious past. And the India of the 21st century is a remarkable India. We regained our independence in 1947. During the short period of just 75 years, we launched some revolutionary programs in the India. And that have transformed India into the global leader we see today. Be it the Green Revolution, through which we have been able to transform India from a hunger state into a food surplus state. During the last 75 years or less than that, we have almost six-fold increase in food production from 50 million tons to 300 million tons. And we are the only country who are feeding 800 million people food free of cost. We are the largest producer of the milk in the world. India offers one of the best and the most affordable health system in the world. We demonstrated our capacity during COVID times. We developed our own vaccine. And India is this time the largest producer of vaccines in the world. Way back in 1947, we were a blackout nation. But today, India is a space power. We are navigating the moon and the Mars. And since 1975, when we launched that first satellite, the Aryabhat, we have launched some more than 350 satellites of 35 nations from our soil. And when we talk of the IT revolution, India is the software of the world. Major giants, IT giants of the world are managed by us. We are today the 5th largest economy of the world, and we intend to take a quantum jump to be the 3rd largest in the world. And when we come to the technological revolution, the world talks about the innovations, we talk about the Indian jugaad, and that has put India as the 3rd largest startup nation of the world. That is the India in the making, and that's how India is a global power today. So with this background, and this, we offer Jammu and Kashmir a destination for the education. Why? Because it is, if India represents the world, as I said, Jammu and Kashmir represents India. We are as diverse in culture, in spirituality, as the whole of the country. We have a very old written history of 5,000 years by Pandit Kalhana. One of the first universities, just like the Nalanda that actually existed in Kashmir, the Sharda University. And of course, that 4th Buddhist Council happened in Jammu and Kashmir. And when you talk about the beauty of the Kashmir, it is unparalleled. We are a place in Jammu and Kashmir, we have those 4 distinct seasons, which are mesmerizing. And of course, for a student from any nation around the world coming to Jammu and Kashmir, he also loves to be adventurous, and we have everything to be adventurous for any student. Now coming to the real question, why should someone from any nation around the world come to Jammu and Kashmir for education? And I'm proud to see that under the able leadership and mentorship of our Honorable Lieutenant Governor, we have been able to rewrite the history, both in education and in agriculture in Jammu and Kashmir. We have developed 2 models, one the education model and another the agricultural development model. The education model which we developed is this spinning wheel of knowledge that connects research and education with innovation and entrepreneurship. I am proud to say that India is a big country. We have some 74 agriculture universities. Our agricultural research education system is the biggest in the world, and this model is now being followed across all the universities in the country. And I will just give the credit to the ICAR, who have supported us under National Agricultural Higher Education Program with the support of around 300 million Indian rupees. And it was a World Bank funded program. And the other model which we developed is this agricultural development model. We call it the Holistic Agricultural Development Plan. We have seen the green revolution in India that transformed India, but then we also understand that it has some negatives, the green revolution, of degrading the natural resources and so many negatives of it. But then when we were given a task by our Honorable Lieutenant Governor to just build a plan, a new concept of this agriculture, we said that it should be an evergreen revolution, and it should be based on 3 very important principles. The principle of the economy, because in India we are done with the food sufficiency. We are a food surplus country. We talk about the nutritional sufficiency and the economic security. We talk about the equity because we want an inclusive society, and we talk about the ecology. And that has, Honorable Lieutenant Governor has approved this project at a cost of 50 billion rupees. So a student coming from anywhere in the world will have this exciting opportunity to be in Jammu and Kashmir. On one side, he has the best model of education, and on the other side, he has this mega program of 50 billion rupees, this holistic development of agriculture, wherein we are going to involve every student into this program. So he will have a first-hand experience of actually seeing how we are actually transforming agriculture in Jammu and Kashmir. Let me say you that these are some of the problems which are ubiquitous throughout the world. Let it be the seed quality, the fragmentation of the land, the fragile climate, the rain-fed agriculture, the degrading natural resources, they are almost everywhere. And that project is going to provide solution to the problems in Jammu and Kashmir through this. We are, our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. S. Jaishankar ji, sir, has arrived in the hall. Sir, please give a standing ovation to our chief guest. We thank our chief guest for arriving at the hall. Thank you, sir, very much. Sir, I can just give a break, and then we first welcome our honorable chief guest. Amreen, you can just call.
Thank you, sir. May I request Shri Atal Dulu Saab to kindly felicitate our honorable chief guest who has graced the occasion with his gracious presence. The Honorable Chief Guest has arrived. And we are extremely pleased to have you here with us, sir, today. This is a small token of appreciation and some mementos from Kashmir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving honors. Yes, sir. Sir, just a quick that we are talking about that why should a student from around the world come to Jammu and Kashmir, and I was talking about those two models, the education model and that agriculture developmental model. And we said that the model which we have developed, agricultural model, that is going to provide the solution to the problems in agriculture which are ubiquitous throughout the world. And as has been said rightly by our additional chief secretary, that we have set the targets for that particular project. It's very important to say that a student coming to us will have that first-hand experience. And the two universities, the Sher-e-Kashmir University of Agricultural Sciences and Technology in Kashmir and of Jammu, would be providing that backstopping of this very ambitious project. And because we have problems in agriculture, we have to find the solutions to them. To give an idea as to how are the two universities preparing to provide the solutions to the problems is a little bit clear from our vision, research vision. We say that our university should be the top innovation-led farm university in the country. And with that, we have set our mandate very clear. We talk about outcome-based education for generation of the next-gen human capital who would drive that knowledge-based and technology-driven agri-economy in Jammu and Kashmir. We talk of the translational research for sustainable bioeconomy, and we talk of the tech-driven innovation and entrepreneurship for wealth and job creation. So we have set our ideas very clear for the students who will be coming from outside. And what has these new initiatives helped us? We are today the 6th best state agriculture university in the country. There are some such 74 universities in the country. And in Himalayas, we have been working very hard and have achieved this status. The Ministry of Education also ranks the universities on the basis of the innovations. We have been ranked at band excellent category. We are again the grade A category of the institution in the country. So we have all reasons for inviting the students from across the world to come to us. We don't talk about education, we talk about the quality education. I am very pleased to share with you that India has launched another very ambitious program, a revolutionary program of national education policy, and we are the first agriculture university in the country to have adopted that national education policy at our place. And we have developed a model, and our model is very different from anywhere. We are the only country whose undergraduate program is a program what we call as a degree by design. A student entering into our university won't be going away with a degree in graduate degree, but he will have the option to build his skills in one of his areas of interest. He will be able to customize his degree. Our postgraduate program is in a sandwich mode. Every student coming to our university will be completing his degree in 2 universities, and we are offering the postgraduate program in dual degree mode with foreign universities, and we have 60 short skill courses we are offering for the students around the globe. And currently we are offering this dual degree program with Western Sydney University, wherein a student would be spending 1 year with us and 1 year in Australia, and then we are clearing a path for him for his doctoral degree. And these are the short skill courses because we believe now in the western part of the world and in Europe and many countries around the world, the students do not want to just spend too much of a time on long degrees. They want to have these short skill courses for entrepreneurship and for employability. So we offer those advanced courses here. And this is the outcome of our education system. Our students are now placed globally, be it Europe, be it America or Australia, every continent we are there. One very important question, what I was just indicating earlier, about the cost competitiveness. A student who is to earn a degree, a graduate degree in veterinary sciences, it will cost him around $66,000 US in USA. And the same degree will cost him around $40,000 in UK. But with us, it will cost him around $5,500 only, and we will be giving a comparably degree of the same quality. And the process of selection is a little bit rigorous with us, and we only take the motivated students. We have 3 streams of admitting the students in the university. One is through our own university's direct admission process, and another is through Pragati. It is country's global aptitude test for admission of foreign students in Indian universities. So that's another stream. And third is this ICCR, Indian Council of Cultural Relations. We offer the scholarships to the meritorious students as high as 100%. So I would just impress upon the diplomats here that these are some of the features. What is very also important, because we in agriculture are here to find the solutions to the problem. We talk about the excellence in agriculture. We are basically a research-intensive university, and our research system is very robust. We have some 64 subject matter departments, 17 advanced research centers. As has been said by Atal Lulu Saab, we have very handsome research grant and collaborations. We measure the quality of the research in terms of these outputs. The H-index, which is fairly moderate, 61. We have generated 7 patents last 3 years and have filed 41 applications. We have developed 150 technologies, evolved some 112 varieties, and earned many awards around the nation. So this is one very important slide I'm just flashing here, because as has been said by our financial commissioner, that we in our universities are working under 3 varied agroclimatic zones: the cold, arid desert condition of Ladakh, then the temperate Kashmir, and the subtropical in Jammu. This is the diversity of the crops we have in Jammu and Kashmir. So a student coming to us will have an opportunity to work on any of these crops. And that's how we are focusing on translational research. We believe in where we are evolving those varieties of the crops which are high yielding, of quality, and are also biofortified. Just for reference, this SR4 variety is the highest yielding variety of rice in the country. Its yield potential is 10 tons per hectare. It is 3 times the national average. Same, we have developed some biofortified crops. I cannot go into the details. We also believe in climate smart agriculture. This picture on the right side, was our land race. It was highly susceptible to a disease called blast. But then we have introduced resistance to it and have built a resistant variety of it. And we are also building these biotic and abiotic tolerant varieties. And we are also concerned about the conservation of our biodiversity. But then we don't limit it to that thing only. We are trying to revive our land races and make them commercial, so that we are able to conserve them perpetually. And we are also concerned, thank you, about this organic agriculture. So the commercial agriculture, sir, one small slide before I come to here, that we are also working in this cold arid desert of Ladakh. From this picture, it is very clear from the behind, nothing grows in Ladakh as far as the vegetation, but because of the condition is here. And this is how we are working in Ladakh region. That is the expertise we have of working in that particular region. And that's how we also think of the problems of the countries around the world, and we have the expertise of doing that. We have also built a very robust innovation and ecosystem startup system in the university. And in the exhibition outside, we have those student startups, and we are almost among the first few universities in agriculture who have such a kind of a robust system. And quickly, I will just take you through some of the pictures of the campus. It's the paradise experience of the 2 campi of the 2 universities, and this is how our campus looks like. We have modern infrastructure, we have world-class facilities, our campus is always abuzz with the student activities, and this is one girls' hostel here. It is so beautifully located, and this is our upcoming international hostel. And before I conclude, I would like to just thank our honorable chief guest, who has thought it very appropriate to be with us and spend his valuable time with us, and our honorable guests of honor, and the honorable diplomats from the different countries. So in a short time, I was trying to communicate that India is a destination for education, and for the way India is moving ahead, and in India, Jammu and Kashmir is an ideal destination for education. So we request you, and rather invite your students to our place and see that we are able to help the countries around the world in building that competent, skilled human trained force. Thank you very much, and thank you all. God bless you all.
Thank you, sir. Under your able and dynamic leadership, SKUAST Kashmir offers a promise and an iron will to keep it. Dr. Vinay Sahasrabuddhe ji, Honorable President of the Indian Council for Cultural Relations, a nationalist social worker, a great leader and an eminent scholar, is now requested to address the August gathering.
Our External Affairs Minister, Honorable Shri Jaishankar ji, Union Minister for Education and Skill Development, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan ji, Lieutenant Governor of Jammu Kashmir, Shri Manoj Sinha ji, Minister of State, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, Shri Atul Dullu ji, Professor Nazir Gyani ji, and all the dignitaries present in the audience, ladies and gentlemen. Let me at the outset congratulate the government of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, and especially the Lieutenant Governor Shri Manoj Sinha ji, for organizing this particular function, because this particular function, I believe, marks the dawn of the development era in a more confident and robust manner, and it also marks resonance of the aspirations of next generation of Jammu and Kashmir. I believe that this particular event will go a long way in having many more foreign students coming to Jammu and Kashmir, and I'm happy that the organizers made Indian Council for Cultural Relations a partner in the conduct of this function. Foreign students coming to India and coming especially to Jammu and Kashmir is a proposition on which we all are working for several years, including the Indian Council for Cultural Relations. And as we know, students from other countries come to India in search of quality education, in search of diversity of knowledge areas, and of course, career opportunities. And in this regard, I would say Jammu Kashmir has a huge potential to offer several disciplines, several knowledge areas to the foreign students. For example, we are talking about the plans of the university, which is basically into agriculture sciences and technology as well. So I'm sure not just food processing, but the recent emphasis of the government on the farmer producers organizations and management of such organizations would certainly add great value to the education of agriculture and related issues in such universities. I'm also keen that new sciences also should be explored. A few years back, the President of Iceland had visited India, and he had suggested that we would like to collaborate with Indian universities on areas like glacier sciences, which I believe again is very relevant to Jammu and Kashmir. I would also suggest, apart from this, and now the new education policy, the new national education policy facilitates interdisciplinary education and research as well. And Indian Council for Cultural Relations is very keen on what we call as building language friendship bridges. For example, in our country, there are very few universities that offer training in some of the important neighborhood languages, including, let's say, Uzbek or Kazakh or Bhutani or Burmese, and so on and so forth. Maybe it would be a good idea if such universities come forward and start courses in these languages there, whereby perhaps we can get good interpreters and translators as well. I would also suggest that since Jammu and Kashmir is a state known for exquisite art traditions, Indian Council of Cultural Relations would be very happy to organize some kind of an exchange of artisans and thereby the traditional knowledges in several parts of the globe and of course Jammu and Kashmir. I would also propose that if the Jammu and Kashmir administration so decides, the ICCR would be happy to help them to organize such kinds of fairs whereby we can make people in other countries, in other capitals, let's say in Tashkent, in Nur Sultan, in Thimphu, Colombo, Bangkok, where we have our centers, we can organize or help the Jammu and Kashmir administration to organize such fairs whereby the message of a changing, new aspirational Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, goes loud and clear in several countries. I would also say that education is one of the powerful vehicles of culture, and culture is also the part of agriculture. So an agriculture university coming forward, taking Indian Council for Cultural Relations along with it, and moving to make Jammu Kashmir an ideal destination for the Gen Next of an aspirational world, I believe is the right step in the right direction. And as President ICCR, let me assure every cooperation in such initiatives of the government of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for those very kind words. I now take great pleasure in welcoming the Honorable Lieutenant Governor, Shri Manoj Sinha ji, a visionary leader, the chief host and the head of the Jammu and Kashmir family, to address the August gathering.
Honorable Minister for External Affairs, Dr. S. Jaishankar ji, Honorable Minister for Education and Skill Development, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan ji, Honorable Minister for State in Prime Minister's Office for Sciences, Dr. Jiten Singh ji, Dr. Vinay Sahasrabuddhe ji, Shri Atal Dullu ji, Dr. Nazir Ganai, Vice Chancellor SKUAST, Excellencies, distinguished guests from embassies, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the first International Education Fair of Sher-e-Kashmir University of Agricultural Sciences and Technology. I must thank and express my gratitude to the Honorable External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaishankar ji, Honorable Education Minister, Sri Dharmendra Pradhan ji, and President ICCR, Dr. Vinay Sahasrabuddhe ji, and Dr. Jiten Singh ji for helping us with this wonderful event and for taking an active interest in transforming Jammu Kashmir as a favorite destination for the international students. Friends, Jammu Kashmir is crown jewel of India and embodies the eternal and universal values of our ageless culture. In the ancient past, Jammu Kashmir was known as Sarda Peeth, the seat of learning. For many of our guests from abroad, it is also famous as Switzerland of India, a paradise on earth and a confluence of all spiritual streams. For more than 3 decades, this serene land of intellectuals, historians, saints and Sufis had suffered terrorist exported by our neighboring country. Every enlightened soul in the world knows that our neighboring country is a breeding ground for terrorists, and for almost 3 decades it has been exporting terror to India and to the rest of the world. In the last 3 years after the abrogation of Article 370, Jammu Kashmir has attained peace, and we are now witnessing investment and record number of domestic and foreign tourists. Stone pelting and strikes have become thing of past. Schools, businesses, cinema halls, shopping malls are operating smoothly without interruption. Under the guidance of Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji, Jammu Kashmir is on the path of move. The digital revolution has unleashed socio-cultural transformation, which has empowered every section of the society, especially young generation. With more than 65% population below 35 years of age, we are witnessing a powerful force of youth indulging in invention, innovation, and research. They are full of optimism and ambition, fired by boundless energy and knowledge power. Another important thing I would like to mention is that Honorable Prime Minister ended decades of discrimination against a large population. He has established an egalitarian society, ensuring equal rights and accountabilities of all the citizens. We have made efforts to establish people-centric governance, and we take the suggestions of common men and elected representatives to formulate new policies. Even development projects in different areas are taken up as per people's demand to ensure that works on the ground fulfill their needs. Today I can say with full confidence that the growth of Jammu Kashmir has not only accelerated, it has also become socially more inclusive and regionally more balanced. Under the guidance of Honorable Prime Minister, we have taken a very wide range of decisions to accelerate the implementation of mega infrastructure projects, other development projects in health, agriculture, energy sector, reform the administrative system, and we have also created new knowledge infrastructure to transform Jammu Kashmir into a knowledge society. Over the past 3 years, we have focused on developing knowledge, workers and their deployment in all sectors like industries, agriculture and healthcare. Sincere efforts have been made to convert the knowledge dividends into wealth for process of innovation and growth. You will be surprised to know that in such a small union territory, we are registering a new startup every other day. In the last 3 years, we have registered 0.6 million new entrepreneurs, which roughly means that per day, 580 youth started their entrepreneurial journey and contributing to the growth of the Jammu, Kashmir and the nation. And this is not all. On an average, we are receiving 12 applications every day from different industrial houses from India and abroad to set up their businesses. In 2022, on an average, one industry became operational per day. This year has been even better, and within 45 days, around 52 new industrial units have become operational. This is the result of path-breaking decisions of Honorable Prime Minister, who guided us and provided us with essential ingredients for sustainable long-term economic growth. Friends, within 2.5 years, Jammu Kashmir has become the champion in the country as far as online provision of public services, digital transactions, and use of internet by citizens are concerned. I can proudly say that in a very short span of time, we have built a digital society. We are offering 440 services in online mode. Our entire administration is paperless. We do not accept any offline application because people across Jammu Kashmir now prefer digital application that obviously avoids any human interface. In 2022, Jammu Kashmir recorded 1.2 million e-transactions per day, and each transaction is integrated with quality checks, and we receive the feedback from the citizen in real time, which helps us to calibrate our service delivery mechanism. Every hour of the last month, just one of our banks, known as Jammu Kashmir Bank, facilitated 2,000 money transactions through its mobile application and digital network. I remember last week, an international magazine cover story was on quantum leap in technology. J&K is witnessing a new technological revolution, and we have started 2 innovation and invention centers where well-trained faculties of IT professionals are preparing future knowledge workers who will be the main force of Industry 4.0 to provide much needed human resources for fiercely global technological market. Friends, with more than 150 higher education institutions, 2 central universities, 7 state universities, 2 AIMS, IIM, IIT, NIT, NIFT, IIMC, and 2 agriculture, science and technology universities. Jammu Kashmir has emerged as a favorite destination for the students in India and outside India. And I think this is the opportune moment for us to invite students from abroad for both short-term and long-term courses in Jammu Kashmir for value-based quality education to ensure creation of enlightened global citizens. And I want to assure you that we are not going to offer just a degree or a diploma, but also wisdom of 5,000-year-old rich civilization of India. I always believe that learning is a way of life, and we are going to offer students an opportunity to elevate their intellectual as well as spiritual experiences. I am not exaggerating, but any other universities and educational institutions in the world cannot match this scenic beauty as far as location of the campuses is concerned, and not to forget the inclusive cultural ecosystem, which is living example of rich, intense, and diverse society. We have a dedicated Center for Central Asian Studies. We are also encouraging local companies to go global in the agriculture and textile sector, and I think students from the foreign countries would be interested to see how our mechanical and digital intervention is helping the farmers and women entrepreneurs of hilly areas to reap the benefits. Last year, we had set up an apex committee for holistic development of agriculture and allied sector. And on the basis of its recommendation, we are implementing 29 projects worth rupees 5,013 crore, which will transform subsistence agriculture into sustainable commercial agri-economy. We are hoping the productivity gains will ensure our gross agricultural output, which is to be the tune of 37,559 crore per year, will grow to 65,701 crore per year over next 5 years. We are number 1 in terms of production of saffron, apple, walnut, and almond in India. With sustained reform process in the last 3 years, J&K is now among the top 5 states of the country in terms of monthly farmer income. Last year, we had signed an agreement with New Zealand to transform our livestock sector, and I am confident the agriculture and allied sector will provide a fertile ground for interested students for research, innovation, and value creation. Besides friendly campuses, nestled in nature's paradise, excellent faculties, and high standard of living, Jammu Kashmir is also offering a wide variety of courses and degrees starting from artificial intelligence, robotics to architecture, yoga and Sanskrit with a new biotech park. We are also encouraging our educational institutions to develop a closer interface with the industrial world, which will definitely incentivize students to focus on advanced research activities. Friends, we all know that the COVID pandemic made the world realize the hard way the virtues of culture, humanity, spirituality, and well-being. The paradigm shift towards virtues of the life which humanity is witnessing is also an opportunity for enhancing quality of life by exchange programs between the countries and learn from each other, live for each other, live for each other, and enable each other to achieve greater heights in our journey. Today, India is the world's 5th largest economy. We have assumed G20 presidency and hosting several meetings this year. In Srinagar also in month of May, we have a meeting of G20 countries. Honorable Prime Minister gave the world the vision of one earth, one family, one future. The whole world is looking at India with admiration and hope. There never was a better time to be in India to witness and comprehend the glorious chapters of ancient civilization and immortal organic composite culture. Friends, Indo-Persian Sufi singer had once said about Jammu Kashmir, Gar Firdaus Barrue Jami Ast, Hami Asto, Hami Asto, Hami Ast. If there is a heaven and earth, it's here, and it's here. I am sure foreign students, residential exchange programs, people-to-people contacts, and institutional interactions with the different institutions of Jammu Kashmir will enrich and strengthen global cultural synergies. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Your vision is and has always been awe-inspiring. We are now proceeding to a much-awaited part of the program, the release of the SKUAST Kashmir admission brochure. I request the honourable dignitaries on the stage, led by our esteemed chief guest, to kindly release the admission brochure for international students. SKUAST Kashmir, the 6th best state agricultural university, takes deep pleasure in welcoming global students to be a part of our family. The students shall, in addition to receiving excellent education, be trained to become global leaders, capable of making the world a better place, today and tomorrow. Beginning a new era of hope and transformation. Thank you, sirs. Thank you very much. We shall now take you on a virtual journey to SKUAST Kashmir. As we play the SKUAST Kashmir documentary, we hope that you enjoy seeing it as much as we enjoy being there every single day.
In our unique and diverse world, there exists a magic land, which is often been called the paradise on earth. Kashmir, with its gurgling brooks, snow-clad peaks, pristine lakes, and heavenly serenity, bears an uncanny resemblance to the paradise described in many scriptures. The majestic sentinels that guard the Kashmir Valley become clad in snow during winter, and then unveil mesmerizing meadows as winter melts into the glorious spring. Spring, the transformative season of hope, every tree offers a promise as it blossoms into a flower bouquet. Orchards of apple, almond and cherry become tourist destinations, with people flocking to sit in their shade. The summer brings with it an explosion of colors, complemented by the ever-present music of the rivers, which originate right from pure and untarnished glaciers. This natural abundance is utilized to grow world-class rice, including the aromatic varieties, and the farmers are busy in their fields singing happy songs about Mother Nature. Autumn arrives, bringing in the hues of red and gold and transforming every leaf into a flower, a costliest royal spice of the world, filling a farmer's heart with the kind of satisfaction that only hard work can bring. Then snow arrives again, covering everything up in a layer of unblemished white, and peace reverberates in the air. Kashmir has been the abode of many seekers, learners and gurus since time immemorial. They came to seek enlightenment and found it in the mountains of Kashmir. Their marks as shrines and temples are scattered all over the valley. The wisdom they acquired still resonates in the land, thereby making it an epitome of cultural and religious harmony. Living up to this reputation of achieving great knowledge is an institute of higher learning, the Sher-e-Kashmir University of Agricultural Sciences and Technology of Kashmir, as a multi-campus university with sprawling campuses, research and extension units, is spread all over Kashmir and Ladakh with a total land area of more than 922 hectares. With its headquarters located close to the beautiful Shalimar Garden, SKUAST Kashmir has a total of 7 academic campuses, each with modern infrastructure, high-tech facilities, state-of-art laboratories, sophisticated equipment and centers of excellence, in addition to 12 research stations and 14 outreach centers known as KVKs. To promote student well-being and comfort, SKUAST offers other great facilities as well. These include hostels nestled in lush green surroundings with open courtyards, sports and recreation centers, transportation facilities, medical service support, and a myriad of other amenities for the all-round development of students. Sher-e-Kashmir University of Agricultural Sciences and Technology of Kashmir holds innumerable distinctions. It is the 6th best state agricultural university of India with Grade A accreditation by ICAR, along with accreditation from other national accreditation bodies like the Veterinary Council of India, Indian Council of Forest Education and Department of Biotechnology, Government of India. It's also a banned excellent university as per the Atal Innovation Ranking and emerging as India's first innovation-driven university. It's renowned the world over for developing Noori, the world's first Pashmina goat clone, and is the first university to fully implement National Education Policy 2020. This prestigious institute offers 8 undergraduate, 59 masters and 46 PhD programs in all areas of agricultural sciences. Additionally, nearly 70 diploma and skill development courses in various areas of agriculture and allied sectors are on offer. The excellence in education is reflected in an admirable placement rate. The high-impact courses certifications are not only domain-specific, but soft skills, life skills, and entrepreneur skills are an essential part of the curriculum. The air in SKUAST is abuzz with an innovative spirit. SKUAST offers infrastructural support in the form of SKUAST Innovation, Incubation and Entrepreneurship, Center for Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning, and Agri-Startup Parks, in addition to the other state-of-art facilities. SKUAST also provides all possible innovative and incubation support through the National Innovation and Startup Policy, farmers and industry-oriented model of education, skill development policy, industry tie-ups, and an industry-oriented curriculum. All this has led to students shining in innovation with 6 successful startups already established. Our students have been awarded 8 BIRAC lakh grants, 2 India Innovation Growth Program awards, and more than 50 other grants and awards. The university faculty has attracted extramural grants worth millions of dollars for incubation and ideation support. SKUAST is also collaborating with national and international institutes like Western Sydney University, Kansas State University, and many others for providing exposure and acquainting students with global diversity. This, the university achieves through sandwich programs, educational tours, research internships, and many more.
The campus gives us a lot of opportunities, and the professors are very talented, and they are very well experienced, and they will help you in every situation.
Basically, for a student, the most important thing is the atmosphere and the peace to study, because this is what we are coming for. And the peace here is so good for a student to study that you won't find this anywhere else. So my overall experience is very great here.
As a freshman, I am greatly fascinated by the winsome nature of this university with peace and security.
The campus here is truly an example of special ambience, great faculty, and a clear point of vision. Apart from the education, they also provide us the medical facilities and other basic needs.
My name is Sandina. I am a foreign student. I came from Myanmar. Currently, I'm an agriculture economist from the division of Agriculture and Statistics, Faculty of Agriculture, Warura.
My name is Emmanuel Usampama from Ghana. I'm a student of SKUAST, second year GPB student of Wadura campus.
SKUAST Kashmir students, scientists and alumni are making their marks all around the globe. In the last few years alone, they have won more than nearly 80 national and international awards, acquired 10 patents, and developed more than 100 improved crop varieties, including varieties like SR4, which is 3 to 4 times more productive and of a higher quality than the conventional varieties. These relentless endeavors have also led to the production of the world's first variety of saffron, making conservation a top priority. The university has characterized and registered new breeds. The humongous extramural grants that the faculty attracts makes it possible to keep pace with the top institutions of the world. SKUAST is building its expertise in technologies that drive the Agri 4.0 revolution, like artificial intelligence, machine learning, IoTs, automation, digital agriculture, and other cutting-edge areas of advanced plant and animal genomics like speed breeding, gene editing, CRISPR-Cas, recombinant vaccinology, and many more. Thus, it's paving way for evergreen, precision, and high-output agriculture, which could transform every sphere of life and help in achieving zero hunger.
We at this university have the unique settings of working in Himalayan agro-ecosystem, wherein our students and the research scholars have an opportunity to work in temperate, cold arid desert, subtropical and alpine ecosystems. The crops and the commodities grown in this region are very unique to the Indian subcontinent. We are very famous for the apples we produce here, the saffron, the cherry, the apricot, the famous pashmina shawls, the carpets and the wood crafts we produce from here. Respecting the individual creativity and the talent of every student, we have made our curriculum open, choice-based and flexible. We have created an ecosystem of innovations and startups. We have designed our curriculum as an industry-oriented. Our undergraduate program is a program which we call as a degree by design program, and our master's and PhD program is in sandwich mode, wherein a student has to do his degree in at least 2 universities, either nationally or internationally. We aim to record India as the 3rd largest economy with a significant share of the knowledge economy and the bioeconomy. With these national goals, we have set the goals of the SKUAST Kashmir as the first innovation-led farm university. With the aim to produce next-gen global leaders, we shall help the countries and the communities around the world to grow equally with India. We have a composite culture of love, tolerance, tranquility, respect and hospitality. This composite culture we call proudly as Kashmiriyat, which we aim to instill in our visiting students. With this, we present unique settings for the international students. We welcome students from across the world to experience nature from the closest and get trained, skilled and imbibed with Kashmiriyat and go back to their respective countries to serve their nations and make the world a better place to live.
SKUAST offers a great environment where students can celebrate science and technology, enjoy learning, gain inquisitiveness and make great friends, thereby making the best of their youthful years. No matter where in the world you are, if you are passionate about science and technology, welcome to the SKUAST Kashmir family.
Thank you so very much for your appreciation. We are so glad that you like what we love. I now request a multi-talented personality, a doctor, an award-winning author, and of course, the Honorable Minister of State, Minister of Earth Sciences, Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, for an address.
Honorable Minister for External Affairs, Dr. Jaishankar Ji, Minister of Education, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan Ji, Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha Ji, Additional Chief Secretary, Jammu and Kashmir, Mr. Atal Dallu, our friend and President ICCR, Dr. Cesar Bude, the dynamic Vice Chancellor of the SKUAST Kashmir, Dr. Nazir Ganai, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I think when I was hearing all these speakers right now, the first thought came to me that this is indeed an auspicious occasion because we are celebrating this evening and celebrating ourselves for more than one reason. We are celebrating India's growth story as has been retreated time and again once after the other by all these speakers before me. We are at the same time also celebrating the renaissance that we are witnessing in Jammu and Kashmir. We are also celebrating the quantum jump in India's agriculture sector. And last but not the least, we are also celebrating the unexplored agri-tech startup avenue of Jammu and Kashmir. And when we talk of the growth story, as was being said by Professor Nazir, also by Mr. Dullu, and I think we take pride in saying that we are now number 5th in economy. But what is more important than that, and I'm sure which is going to give you more sense of pride, is that we have actually overtaken the United Kingdom, the country who ruled over us for 200 years. And therefore, with India as the fastest growing economy of the world today, it also gives us a huge degree of self-esteem, both domestically as well as in the international fora. And when we say so, it's not that we say, the statistics say so, the world is saying so. For example, in the Global Innovation Index, we have jumped 41 places from 81 to 40. In the startup ecosystem, we are rated as number 3, having started much later. We hardly had about 350 startups in this country before 2014. It was only after Prime Minister Modi, in his Independence Day address, said, "Start up India, stand up India." Many of us didn't know what it meant at all. But look now, today we have more than 94,000 startups, more than 100 unicorns in a country which didn't know what a unicorn means and what is the spelling of unicorn. So this is indeed something to celebrate. At the same time, we are also celebrating the new national education policy, as the theme of this evening's program indicates, NEP 2020. I've been associated also with the education sector for almost quarter of a century. And I always realize that this is something which must have happened much earlier. I don't know why we had to wait for 70 long years. Even the nomenclature was misplaced. It was called HRD ministry. HRD in corporate sector has absolutely different connotations. So thanks to Prime Minister Modi, we have sitting beside us the Education Minister of India, not the HRD Minister. And we were by default inadvertently following an education policy which created a huge chunk of population which came to be known as educated unemployed, who are sitting outside Dharna and the secretariats everywhere. We were not creating employable youth, we were creating unemployed educated or educated unemployable. We had linked it to the degree. Just about 4 or 5 years back, we had the Vice Chancellor of Cambridge University here in Delhi. He happens to be a medico. He's a former professor of microbiology, because in the United Kingdom, the professors and the lawyers, they do not retire. They are allowed to continue as long as their faculties allow. So being a medico, he thought of me, he calls for me. So he said, Doc, I must compliment you. If I didn't have students from India, my PhDs would be closed. So when he left the room, I asked the person sitting next to me, I said, was it a compliment or otherwise? He said, what do you mean? I said, because the grand old gentleman does not know that in his country, a boy or a girl would come in for a PhD only if he or she has decided to devote the rest of his or her life to that stream, end up doing some research, reaching somewhere, leaving some legacy for the future researchers. Here I come for a trophy. I acquire a degree for biotechnology and go on to become a computer manager. And both ways a win-win situation. My boss tells his companions in the morning walk, look, I have employed a PhD. And my spouse is happy that I have a fat pay packet. So this NEP 2020 has corrected that adaptly. We have the exit entry provision. You can quit, come back. If your mind is not into what you have sought to do, if you realize your aptitude is different, you can have a varied combination of subjects. And the most glaring example, I think, is the right forum here to point out. Otherwise, what was happening? You would take up science subjects, maybe to become a doctor. You would not make it after class 12. Then you have no option but to do a BSc in biosciences. You would do that. After that, you would appear for civil services, try your luck in civil service or JKS, whatever. You couldn't make it. Then you had no option. You would go in for post-graduation, MSc or whatever. If you didn't, go in for PhD, and finally end up becoming a scientist in SKUAST. So the institution which deserves the best of the lot would get the leftovers. It doesn't sound very pleasant, but this was exactly what was happening. And this anomaly is sought to be created. So now Professor Nazir would be getting the best of the talent which has its aptitude and heart in research, science, technology, innovation, not the ones who couldn't make it to the medical school, couldn't make it to civil services, couldn't make it to another avenue and then landed up there. So that is something to celebrate. And then as far as the agriculture sector is concerned, I think technology was there available in the world. It was only after the push given by Prime Minister Modi that we are now into a world of agri-tech technology, agri-tech startups. In the context of Jammu and Kashmir, because as students of science we have been taught not to deviate from theme and also speak with evidence. In the context of Jammu and Kashmir, I think what is most significant is, which we are still not able to realize, the sooner we do so, better it would be, that in the next 25 years, which the Prime Minister keeps calling as Amrit Kal, we have a very critical role to play. Because have you ever thought how we would reach that pedestal in 25 years? I mean, it sounds good, it sounds flattering saying so. But have you done a scientific indices of that? Where is that value addition going to come? Because when the entire resources get exhausted, the saturation points already reached from our western resources, from our southern resources, we would then be looking for the unexplored resources. And where are the unexplored resources? Unexplored resources in the Himalayas and unexplored resources in India's coastline, oceans. which never received the priority. It was only Prime Minister Modi twice consecutively in his Independence Day address referred to deep sea mission. Because we have a 7,500 kilometer long coastal line. We have an ocean called Indian Ocean, named after the country. The other day I was telling some friends from Australia, I said, you come from a country which is Australia, you come from an island which is Australia, you come from a continent which is Australia, but your ocean is not known as Australia. But my ocean known as Indian Ocean because my ancestors could see the huge wealth lying inside, which has remained undiscovered. So when the minerals, the metals, the living, non-living resources which are going to be a subject of research in future agriculture universities like SKUAST is what is going to give value addition to the India's future economy in the next 2 decades. And secondly is the Himalayas. And I think, though it should have been said much earlier, but next time Professor Nazir would add that, include that in his address. Jammu Kashmir is the birthplace of Aroma Mission. And the Purple Revolution of India, हिंदी में जैसे कहते हैं बैंगनी क्रांति, उसका जन्म जम्मू कश्मीर से हुआ. And where else to celebrate this but in a platform arranged by the Agriculture University. This is so deeply connected with agriculture. And that is the new avenue of economy. That is also the new avenue of agri-tech startups. Unfortunately, when we talk of startups, our minds have got stuck in IT. Because this movement started from Karnataka, this movement started from Andhra, which were the hubs of IT. But that's not so. No two words in English mean the same. You may not be a student of science, but you could be a good innovator. You could be a good agriculturist without being a graduate of science. And there is where universities like SCOT will have to play an active role to nurture, to cultivate, to groom agri-tech startups. And those who have taken to it, the lavender entrepreneurship which started from Gulmarg and we started from Bhadrawa, the two places, Gulmarg was the first, they are into lakhs now. I wish sometime we could do some kind of a showcasing of those success stories. We have at least 3 or 4 B.Tech boys who left their corporate job from Bangalore. They have taken to lavender entrepreneurship in Jammu and Kashmir. We are hardly celebrating that. I think they deserve to, because that will inspire our youth. And that will also solve the problem of livelihood. Because that Sarkari Naukri mindset which has got stuck into us will be got over when we find a more lucrative source of income. The other part is the dairy sector. Professor Ganai was telling you, you have 6 startups. I'll borrow or pilfer some of his credit by saying that I too have a contribution, because BIREC from the Department of Biotechnology, which I looked after, also has contributed to that. Similarly, through SKUAST, we at the Department of Biotechnology is also catering to certain dairy startups. We have a huge potential of dairy sector, dairy economy. We have 2 boys B.Tech, 1 boy MBA. All the 3 quit their job from Karnataka. They are back to Jammu and Kashmir. The other agriculture achievement, which I think is hardly being reported because the media doesn't find it fascinating, unless, you know, if I abuse someone that makes news, and by the time the program is over, they'll reach him and ask him, how do you feel being abused? So this doesn't make news. But Jammu and Kashmir is having the first ever cannabis project, which is being routed through CSIR, through IIIM. And cannabis is going to, this is what is going to add quantum value to your economy, because cannabis is otherwise a drug abuse substance. It's not allowed for cultivation. After a lot of effort, we got permission from Government of India. We have acquired a land which was done through IIIM, where its cultivation is being done. The funds required were quite heavy, so we have collaborated with a French company. And in the process of developing it, we would be then able to produce drugs which would be mainly useful for pain relief. like in diabetic neuropathies, like in cancers, and these drugs could be of export quality. Because Jammu Kashmir has a history of herbal drugs. Unfortunately, that's not being discussed today, I know why. But we have, that is our agriculture richness. I don't know how many in this room know that mint, which is relished all over the world, was developed in Jammu and Kashmir. It was Sir Ramnath Chopra, who is known as the father of pharmacology in India. He superannuated from a laboratory in Kolkata way back in 1941 or 42. He was brought in by the then Maharaja to Jammu to set up the first laboratory called Drug Research Laboratory, which became one of the first laboratories of CSIR. We have 37 such laboratories. This Drug Research Laboratory, now known as IIIM, and the National Physical Laboratory of Delhi were the first two. And the mint he developed in Jammu and Kashmir. Later on, he was transferred to Lucknow, and marketing happened in 1970. So what I'm trying to say is that we have the advantage of having a huge, huge legacy of agriculture economy in this territory. And with the kind of startup movement which we has now taken place under Prime Minister Modi, we have the opportunity to become the torch bearers of agri-tech startups. And for that, we need to create sensitization among the youth, among the stockholders. First of all, we have to tell them, we have to make them understand. The agri-tech startup today is not the Kisan of yesteryear, not the Do Bhiga Zameen wal Raisani. He is the one who sits on the computer, switches on the button. The drone does the irrigation, the drone does the pesticide, the drone does the manure. And with all the other soil health card and other avenues at his avenue, he is at much ease. With artificial intelligence, we can even measure the number of drops required for irrigating an agricultural product. But now the question is, are we using all that technology which we have? We have this available in India, because I am related to 6 or 7 departments which are dealing with startups and the science innovation startups. And we are very happy, willing to provide it. We have all the technologies, but the point is that there are two sections of people amongst us. One is who know that they don't know, so they'll come asking. The other is those who don't know that they don't know. So now the challenge is to reach out to those who don't know that they don't know, and to make them realize that if you make this, the lavender startup has picked up in such a way that a small, and we are providing all the support from the government side, through SKUAST, through the Department of Biotechnology, through CSIR, right from hand-holding to funding to taking it up to the market, and even a small bottle of perfume is costing 15,000. So they are into lakhs now, which is much, much, much more lucrative than any salaried job can be offered anywhere. So I think the success and the future ascent of this institutional work that has been talked about in the last few minutes would depend on how best we can make use of the advantages available to us, and how best we connect it to the age group of 30s and 40s who have the opportunity to work for the next 20-25 years, so that when India turns 100 and 2047, they would have the pride to say, look here, I am the architect of Century India, and it was Professor Ganai who was the person responsible for my capacity building. If that is the ultimate goal, we would have achieved the objective of this evening's ceremony. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir, for a heartening address. The guest of honor for this event, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan ji, is the driving force behind many reforms, including the ones that brought Ujala, or light, into lakhs of households. Sir, you are very humbly requested for an address.
Good evening, friends. Chief guest of the function, Honorable Dr. S. Jaishankar, Minister of External Affairs, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, Honorable Minister of State, Science and Technology and Earth Science, Honorable Sri Manoj Sinha ji, Governor General LG, Jammu and Kashmir, Dr. Vinay Sahasrabudhe ji, President, Indian Council of Cultural Relations, Mr. Atul Dullu, Financial Commission and Agriculture Production, Government of Jammu Kashmir, Chief Coordinator of this program, Professor Nazir Ahmad Ganai ji, Vice Chancellor, Sher Kashmir University of Agriculture, Science and Technology, distinguished ambassadors, high commissioners, academicians, senior respectable citizens, professors, and friends from the media. I am glad to be part of this going global fair of this prestigious university. On the outset, let me congratulate. This has two meanings. What Government of India could not do it, Government of Jammu Kashmir has already executed that. I was talking to my senior colleague Jai Shankar ji. As a whole of government approach, Government of India should showcase its knowledge potential, scope, and knowledge repository to the entire global community to study in India. But as an important knowledge center of our country, as Professor Ganai in his introductory remarks said, thousands years ago, centuries ago, the ancient Sarada University was there in the Jammu Kashmir, today's Jammu Kashmir. You are inheriting that legacy. हम ऐसा ही नहीं कहते हैं जम्मू कश्मीर हमारा सिरमौर है, सारे कामों में जम्मू कश्मीर is way ahead of India. Congratulations, Jammu Kashmir. There's another aspect of this event is there's a normalcy in Jammu Kashmir. Due to decisive leadership of Prime Minister Modi and able administration of our LG, Sri Manoj Sinha ji, with all your efforts, Kashmir is on the track today. Kashmir always, Jammu Kashmir always shows the light to the country in all the aspects. In the handloom, handicraft, agriculture, medicinal plants, tourism, knowledge, literature, J&K is way ahead of the rest of the country. You all praiseworthy people, and today's function is on same direction. Friends, this SKUAST University, SKUAST Kashmir, and its another campus at sister campus at Jammu, 2 days program of Srinagar campus. And it's a coincidence, after some day, I'm confident the way India is unfolding, the entire world is eyeing towards India, towards its research, towards its innovation, towards its entrepreneurial skills. How do we manage ourselves? How do we manage ourselves during COVID crisis? How our student can come from the conflict zone to India? The entire globe is watching us keenly. So India's knowledge vertical is key to all such developments. And we are open to all part of globe. Now students from different countries are coming to India. With the National Education Policy 2020, we are giving much emphasis on internationalization. I'm happy this university has a tie-up with South Sydney University of Australia. On the sideline of Squad meeting, when both the Prime Minister met Australia and India. They have exchanged their viewpoints, and in future, Jaishankar ji just informed me, in the first week of next month, Education Minister of Australia and Prime Minister of Australia are coming to India. They will be happy to know both the university have a tie-up on research and the PhD and the post-graduation. Much more such initiative will be there in the future in all the part of the world. And after some time, Professor Ganai will take levy from other institutions. Being the pioneer of showcasing Srinagar, showcasing Jammu Kashmir. When I was talking to Mr. Sinha, there are 17 Institutes of Eminence in Jammu Kashmir, 11 universities, 1 NIT, 1 IIT, 2 AIMS, 1 IIM, 1 Institute of Design. That means the right place, with the right atmosphere, with the right knowledge capacity, and with this initiative, there will be exposure, there will be discussion, and Government of India with institutions like ICCR, from the entire government, be it External Affairs Ministry, be it Science and Technology Ministry, because Dr. Singh's responsibility is more than all of us, because he represents the state, and he piloted lot of research institutions, lot of research projects with his administrative capacity. And being the in charge of education sector, we all are here to support and to encourage and facilitate the globalization, the internationalization of this prestigious university. All my best wishes, and I am happy and I am confident, and for me, I am in charge of education sector since last 1.5 years. I never saw a central university or institution came to approach me, please come to our internationalization function. And you came from the Jammu Kashmir, organize a prestigious program at a very prestigious place and involving none else than External Affairs Minister, none else than Science and Technology Minister and Education Minister. So this is your dynamism. In future, you will continue to do that. Thank you, friends.
Thank you very much, sir, for those very kind words. We are also delighted to have with us Honorable Minister for External Affairs, Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar ji, whose endeavors are not only helping India rise as one of the most powerful nations, but also making it a problem solver for the world. So, we would really be delighted by your address, sir.
My distinguished ministerial colleague, Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan ji, Lieutenant Governor Jammu and Kashmir Manoj Sinha ji, Minister of State for Science and Technology, Earth Sciences PMO Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, President ICCR Dr. Vinay Sahasrabudhe ji, Commissioner Shri Dalu ji, Vice Chancellor Professor Ganai ji, Excellencies, distinguished academics, senior people from the university, from the state, dear friends. First of all, a very, very warm welcome here, because as I am the guest, but this is also the building which is part of my ministry, so I'm also partly the host. So I'm really very, very pleased to see you. I must follow Dharmendra Pradhan ji really in complimenting SKUAST Kashmir for this initiative. Because in the 4 years that I have been Minister of External Affairs, and the 3 years before that when I was Foreign Secretary, I've never had any university of any kind approach us saying, what do we do to get more foreign students here? So I not only appreciate this initiative, but I actually, like Dharmendra Pradhan ji said, I think this is an example for other universities. I hope others will follow suit. And if they do, I want to also assure them today that we will be as responsive as we are to all of you. Now, you all know that 4 years ago, a very big process of change started in Jammu and Kashmir. And that process of change was intended to ensure that the full benefits of development and progress that the rest of India had seen for many, many years were also now completely available to the people, especially to the youth of Jammu and Kashmir. And that in that sense, their being in the national mainstream was extremely important. But it wasn't just that. It was also by doing so, they would connect up with what the rest of India was connecting up, which was also to be part of the international mainstream. That what we saw with many other states and many other universities in other states, which was more international students being there and more of our students going out, it is something that we obviously would like to see in Jammu and Kashmir as well. And for me, this is not just an education event. It is not just an event of what do we do in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. It is for me a very integral part of ensuring that a very important region of India is connected, and I say this as a foreign minister, is connected to what is happening in the world. So this occasion is something which is for me of exceptional importance. Now you all know why education is important. Education is important because perhaps more than any other way, it is the path of mobility, it is the path of progress. You know, there are many of us, and I count myself, people who through education actually have come up in life. Now, education is not just a quest for knowledge. It is also a way, a pathway of awareness, and again, in a globalized world, it is absolutely essential that the young people of India are fully aware of what is happening in the world, and there is no better way of knowing what is happening in the world than to have international students among you. It's obviously many years since I was a student, but I can tell you, I still remember at that time, there were very few international students in the universities those days, but I can still remember every one of the international students who studied with me. And somewhere, you know, they connected us up. You know, I'm now talking of the period when I was in JNU. There was a student in my time from Japan. Many, many years later, I went to Japan. And there were things that that student had, you know, left in my memory in the interactions we had. And suddenly, a lot of what he said came back to me. It came back to me as a way of connecting up with a place where I had just gone in with very little prior knowledge. So I see the purpose of getting more international students in our educational institutions as something hugely important, and I want to say again in this forum with the Education Minister present that we see this as a partnership between the Education Ministry and the Ministry of External Affairs, and it's our shared responsibility to ensure that this aspect of the new education policy succeeds fully. Now, where are we today? I would say, roughly speaking, for the last few years, we've had about, give or take, 25,000 international students in India. That's a very small number. It's a small number that does not do justice to our institutions, and it doesn't do justice to the world. We have today the ability to scale this up. We actually have an obligation to scale it up. And I say this because when I look at what we are doing with the world in other fields, India today has projects done or under delivery in 78 countries of the world. In 78 countries of the world. Just think, it's almost more than maybe 40% of the countries of the world. So if our relationships are so extensive, if our investments are so deep, if our networking is so good, we need to see that translated into a greater flow of international students to India. And that is why I'm particularly pleased today to see representatives of the diplomatic corps here today. And I would like to tell them that, you know, part of our relationship building is also how do we grow the number of students, because students at the end of the day are the best investments that anybody can make. They, you know, the difference that they can make. You know, we have seen students, there are today people, I just came from Fiji, you know. The Prime Minister of Fiji had, as a military officer, spent time in a course here. The President of Nigeria had done so. There are many places where I have seen people who have availed of our technical courses, of our professional courses, who have come here for some kind of training. But I believe that rather than, you know, catch them, I would say, later on in their career, it is much better for us that this relationship building start very much earlier. And I would certainly hope that we can find ways by which this outlook of ours, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, it is also expressed in the field of education. Now, a few words about agricultural science and technology, and I am not in any way connected to that domain. But I do know one thing, that if I were to look at the few, maybe 3-4 big problems of the world, problems not just of a year or but problems of a decade, maybe of a generation, and problems that affect the entire planet. Clearly, challenges of food security are right up there in terms of problems. And last year, because of what happened due to the conflict in Ukraine, this was brought home to a very large number of countries. Now, there are, you know, there was a diplomatic initiative, many of you would have heard at that time, to get grain out of Ukrainian ports. But that was not the problem in itself. It was actually one aspect of a much bigger problem, and the much bigger problem is that if you look at what is actually required for decent nutrition in the world, global food production is well short of that, and we have to think of this very differently, very imaginatively, and that is why I would say Prime Minister's initiative that we celebrate, we mark, we implement 2023 as the International Year of Millets. Believe me, I regard this actually as an extremely profound and consequential initiative, because it addresses a very big demand gap in a very practical way, that you are looking actually at a grain with which the entire world has a history, which has enormous nutritional value, which has a very low water consumption, which is produced by small farmers, which therefore is an entirely ignored area. I mean, in this country today, for every kilogram of wheat we produce, 5 kilograms of wheat we produce less than 1 kilogram of millet. Surely we ourselves have scope to grow. But the Prime Minister is not just thinking about our country. He actually has a global perspective. And among the many messages which are going to come out of the G20, one of them is that please look at millets as a sustainable expandable additionality to global food grain production and therefore for global food security. And we can only do this at a global level if we are actually connected globally. And nobody will connect us more globally than graduates of an agricultural educational system who through their networking will take idea from here and take it somewhere else. Because the reality is a very large part of the world has a history of growing millets. It is just that with the coming of wheat, many of us, them and us, we have actually lowered our production target here. The second, of course, is food processing. Again, food processing is an area where India itself is making rapid strides. We are also making strides as a exporter of food grains, of horticultural products, of agricultural products. So when we talk about the world being a family, when we talk about getting along, a global community, finally, to me, it's the practical side of it which matters. Today's function for me has two facets to that practicality. It is one facet is the educational vehicle which will build international cooperation. And the other facet is the agricultural science and technology, because it addresses a very, very important global need in a very, very effective way. So this brings both of them together. And it not only brings both of them together, it brings both of them together in a way in which it highlights a capability of an institution in Jammu and Kashmir. So I end once again by really today expressing my very deep appreciation that we have the opportunity of hosting you in this function at your initiative, and I hope to see many, many more of them in the coming days. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your appreciation, your generosity, and your words of massive wisdom. I am very happy to announce that we are now being live telecast on the Doordarshan, and more than 100 countries are watching us live. And this evening,